Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. Hey, welcome back to the show. Today's a bit of a quickie episode because I wanted to share with you a thought that I had around bookkeeping, and stay with me on this. From a bookkeeping standpoint, a lot of people don't know that I don't do my own books, even though we offer this as part of our CFO services within house. So I wanted to share with you why I don't do my own books and what that means when an accountant doesn't do their own books, and also why it's not really an indicator of anything negative on them, I think. And I'm a little biased here, but so what I decided to do was I'm decent at bookkeeping and as a CPA, as an accountant. I decided that this was one of the areas in my business, much like you, much like any other founder. I decided this is one of the areas of my business that did not deserve the brain calories that I was spending on it. And I said, you know what? There are plenty of qualified people who could take my vision, my direction of what I want to have presented. I know where to find my information. I know where to find my dashboards. I can make those for myself, but I need somebody to own the data inputs and the data quality. And I need to be able to trust somebody who's going to be able to do this. So, full disclosure, I use Perfectly Kept Books, Misa Bacon. She's an amazing friend, colleague, former guest on the show. Look up her episodes. She's amazing. And I decided that, she's worked with several of my clients in the past. She's done just stellar work. She's really good. She's like an accountant's bookkeeper, like quite literally, but she also just gets what we need as accountants and knows how to really perfect the books. Like, her business name is not a lie. I absolutely adore her. So check her out. I'm going to put her website in the show notes too, just to give a little shout out and say, yes, I use Misa. So me and Misa work really well together, number one. So the biggest thing was I knew I had somebody that I trusted and that I knew I could get in touch with. And I decided that I just had enough with doing it myself, trying to do it myself, do it all. And I had to let go of the in the business little details that I was having as my business was growing this year. I really hit a point where I said, I can't do this myself anymore. Hey, real quick, are you learning anything in this episode that you think is share worthy? Well, if you could take a quick screenshot and share any of your biggest takeaways or quotes from this episode, post it to Instagram and make sure to tag me at Shannon K. Weinstein and at Keep What You Earn. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Let's dive back in. I'm telling you right now that if basically even I, as an accountant, am not doing my own books, you sure as heck shouldn't be. And if you're doing your own books, I'm telling you, every single person who I've ever worked with who brings to the table, they say, hey, Shannon, I want to hire you as CFO. By the way, I've been doing my own books for the last X months, X years. I immediately know I'm going to have to charge and do a cleanup project because I know that there's some stuff in there that I'm going to find. I know that there's going to be a little bit of knots to untie. It's like a giant ball of Christmas lights where I have to figure out which strand is unplugged or which thing isn't working. And trust me, guys, it seems easy to do it yourself. To some extent, you can, if it's just income expenses, whatever. But as soon as you're bringing in like equipment, assets, vehicles, loans, investor capital, things like that, like you're dealing with a little bit more advanced stuff. It's not that simple. And you definitely don't want to be in a position where your books are not accurate and then you're passing them off to your accountant to do your taxes. Like, they're not going to clean them up for you. That's not part of the deal. When you send them off to a tax preparer, you're sending them off to a publisher. Okay. But your job is to author the story. They're not going to do the proofreading. They're not going to edit for you. You should have already sent it through the editor before you send it to the publishing house, right? So think of your tax preparer as the publishing house, and it's super important that you have all of this stuff buttoned up. Now, I decided to outsource the bookkeeping, also because I was already clear about what I wanted in terms of numbers reporting and how I wanted to organize my accounts, how I wanted to organize my P&L. That's another thing that you want to get clear on too, is what would be the most helpful for you to consume. Because what a lot of people don't realize is that most accountants, bookkeepers will compile the financials to help you one day a year, which is tax day. They'll compile it in a way that makes it easier to do the tax return. I did this myself for a very long time. But as I became more of a CFO instead of just a CPA, I realized that the most beneficial use of your QuickBooks or your bookkeeping would be design your chart of accounts in a way that serves you the other 364 or the full 365 of the year, and make sure that you can read it and make sure that you know how to make decisions based on it. Group your accounts in certain ways. I'm going to talk about that in a future episode. How to, budget and how to create your P&L so that you can measure budget to actual really easily. Like, think about those things. This is where it helps to have a CFO at least weigh in, have somebody look at it and say, this is how I would organize it, and maybe even give the blueprint. Think about the blueprint, the architect, the builder. If you ask an architect, hey, look at this blueprint once over, tell me what I should change, and then hand it over to the builder, hand it over to your bookkeeper and say, this is what I want my chart of accounts to look like, if this isn't something that they necessarily do for you or help you with. So just know that this is a choice. You can design this in a way that works for you. All of this can be done to make your books a little bit more valuable and more helpful for you as a founder. Now, I was super clear on what I wanted, so I was able to give that direction to Misa, and she's done an amazing job at maintaining it. You just have to have really clear expectations with what you want. And the clearer I think you are with what you want, the more likely it is you'll get what you want. And that goes with anything in life. But that's why we decided to outsource, because although I have a very capable team who could do it with me, for me, and I could do it myself, it's not a question of can you, it's a question of should you. And there are a lot of people who are still doing a lot more in the business, doing the thing, the technical skill that they're good at, right? Like, I'm good at accounting, therefore, well, Shannon, you should be doing your own books, right? Because, like, if you can't do your own books, then, like, why are you doing other people's books? That's not the conversation. The conversation is, well, if I'm doing my own books, that's one less client I could serve if I'm making myself my own client. Instead, let's leverage paying Misa to come in and do my books, and then I get to charge my clients for doing theirs, and I get to make a bigger impact than I would if I was doing it myself. And I can still have the results that I want to, with adding one more client to the roster. So that's why I think it just made sense for me to make this shift, but also why I want you to reconsider. If you haven't hired a bookkeeper or if you haven't thought about this yet, you really should consider it, even for quarterly reviews or consultation or just for some cleanup. I think it would do you wonders to have that clarity and to be able to articulate what it is that you want and how you want your financials presented, because it will only empower you to make better decisions. Hey, small business owners, are you tired of juggling payroll, benefits, and HR tasks? If so, I want to introduce you to our payroll provider of choice, Gusto, the #1 rated HR and payroll platform trusted by thousands of businesses just like yours. With Gusto, you can streamline payroll, manage benefits, and more, all in one easy-to-use platform. But here's the kicker. When you sign up and run your first payroll through our special link below in the show notes, you'll score a sweet deal, a $100 Visa gift card. That's right. Just $100 for clicking the link below and get started to claim your reward. Don't let payroll headaches hold you back from building your team and growing your business. Join the Gusto family today and take the first step towards simplifying your HR processes while snagging a bonus along the way. Click the link in the show notes now to learn more and set up your payroll.